Ladies, gentlemen, and any titans creaming into their bowl of basement cereal, welcome back. Today, I'm signing up for doctor-prescribed pain and ball torture masquerading as self-care. Can I platinum God of War 3 on Titan difficulty without upgrading a single weapon? Yes, you heard me. No upgrades until the very end when Santa Monica Studios grabs my wrist like a Cyclops at Date Night Twister and makes me spank the big red spend button. And I can already hear you in the comments. Oh, but Lyniq, you need to upgrade your weapons for the platinum. To which I say, shut the fuck up and kiss me. There's 35 trophies in total, including the platinum, and we'll be exiling upgrades to the Shadow Realm until right at the end. So yes, we're sprinting through 95% of this saga as a trembling, hairless hamster with a god complex. Only at the final pit stop before the last boss do I cash out for those 3 upgrade trophies, hitting your stride, sold out and maxed out. Because once credits roll, there's no oopsie do-over menu. Meanwhile, I have to babysit a fuckload of missable collectibles, endure boss fights that chew concrete, and casually unalive an entire pantheon. What could possibly go wrong? Anyway, it's time to jack off the divorce proceedings with Olympus and find out if we can get the platinum trophy with no weapon upgrades. We boot straight into violence. Kratos, Gaia, and a conga line of titans are spidering up Mount Olympus to cancel the god's lease. Minutes in, Poseidon rolls up riding a watery leviathan. Imagine a seahorse if it spent a decade in a blender of steroids and therapy. Phase 1 is me versus the aquatic cryptid, while Gaia dangles my heroic, sexy ass over a bottomless ocean. His splash game reads me like a book and spreads my cheeks like its pages.
Ow, you're hurting me.
After 15 heroic drownings, a single neuron ascends. This thing telegraphs, it only slams fixed coordinates. Plant in the negative space, mash light like I'm collecting debts, and the seahorse finally kills over. Tiny breather, but don't mistake this for happiness. I'm as limp as I've ever been, and Poseidon's just preheating. I immediately channel hate into the nearest Olympus sentry. Kratos grabs the poor guy and snaps him like a wishbone, unlocking our first trophy. Poseidon pops back up with a trident and a moist buffet, and suddenly I'm catching hands and hemorrhoids like it's a 2-for-1 special. On Titan, his sweeps are instant spine tax, and my damage is still a polite suggestion. 13 more funerals later, the second neuron clocks in. The trident isn't tracking, it's choreography. It hits predetermined spots, so I stand literally anywhere else and spam square like it owes me child support. And eventually, Ocean Daddy faceplants. Chris gets involuntarily baptized, and ding, releasing the floodgate unlocks. We keep clawing upward. Gaia and I latch onto Olympus and square up with Zeus, but Grandpa thunderclaps us like misbehaving interns, yeets us off the mountain, and we belly flop into the river Styx. The souls in that ecto suit repo every upgrade I've ever loved. Athena materializes, glowing, MILF energy weaponized.
Yeah, boy.
Presses the blades of exile into my hands and whispers the assignment: snuff the flame of Olympus, kill Zeus. That's where the vow hardens. No upgrades. Red orbs spill out of chests and corpses hissing, please sir, can I have some more? And I stare at the upgrade screen like a starving dog outside KFC.
This finger's looking good.
But as I'm still wringing Styx water out of my ego, a second dock drain locks in. No weapon upgrades, sure, but I'm looting like a goblin with a gym membership. Health, magic, item meters aren't weapons, so they're fair game. Every Gorgon eye I jam into my skull nudges me towards eye candy. Every phoenix feather I snort, responsibly, edges me to feather plucker. And every minotaur horn I pocket plumps the item bar for horn of plenty. And looming over all of it, godly possessions for priceless. These gremlin trinkets hide like unpaid invoices. Miss one, and your platinum starts sleeping on the couch. We continue our journey, descending 2 steps into Hades when the loot fairy dumps the bow of Apollo in my lap. Imagine a flamethrower disguised as a harp. One strum and I'm breastfeeding you sickos like a buffet of barbecue chicken. This right here is probably what gets you off. With the bow in hand, we begin barbecuing everything. Ghoul, chard, random tortured soul minding his own internal business, s'mores baby. See, we need to rack up 100 DIY rotisserie specials to unlock It's Getting Hot in Here. I tumble out of the underworld's queue like I'm late for my appointment with suffering. And before even making eye contact with daddy chains and skins, we detour for culture. Culture? Meaning Mr. Han, you know, that secret room. With that out of the way, it's time for Hades. Walking anatomy exhibit, part-time chain rep, full-time exfoliation enthusiast. On Titan, with 0 weapon upgrades. This isn't a boss fight. It's Kratos spins on the spit while my nipples blink SOS in Morse code.
Hey, yo!
My blades smack like wet noodles, and every swing feels like foreplay with a brick wall. Somewhere amid the ribcage percussion, a delightful side effect occurs. Bloody hell pops. Apparently, when the god of the underworld turns my arena into a NutriBullet, the 500 buckets of blood quota fulfills itself. We finally hit the rip his soul out for real sequence, and I'm sweaty, trembling, apologising to the architecture. The finishing QuickTime event is intimate in a way HR would flag.
You need to leave!
I hold the stick, the controller throbs like my Pen 15, and I drag his essence out like bad Wi-Fi through 3 walls of drywall. Depths below dings, the arena exhales, and the claws of Hades slide onto my hands like designer guild. I don't cheer. I look at my 0 upgrade inventory, then at the puddle formerly known as a god. And those hooks? They unlock my favourite brand of degeneracy, the 1000 hit loop. The move is simple, L1 plus circle, and in the right area, against the right kind of compliant cannon fodder, it's the combat equivalent of grinding through a turnstile. Around 600, I start bargaining with the very deities I just evicted. When 1000 flashes, the fight lights the erection in my heart, and I start hitting this bad boy like it's my signature sex toy.
Brother,
On the way to our next celestial lawsuit, we detour through Gaia, and by detour, I mean Kratos moonlights as an orthopedic lumberjack. Trophy handyman dings the moment we sever an entire goddess's hand. Then the gazelle lion chimera waltzes in, a curse-tasting menu of timing tacks, flamethrower burps, tail subpoenas, and a charge that shreds my guard like a coupon. I perish repeatedly, but I bait the big tails and disengage like an emotionally unavailable king. It's glacial, vindictive, and finally, the kitty uninstall.exes itself, and I celebrate by silently vibrating. We crawl out of that chimera disaster just in time to commit war crimes on Helios. Some boy doing laps in his chrome chariot, me spinning siege contraptions like a tradie who found the keys to Heaven's toolshed. We shoot him down like a mythological skeet target. He crash lands, golden, dazed, a rotisserie chicken that forgot to rotate. We close in on foot and the game cosplays a boss fight. It isn't. It's a museum tour with extra screaming. We take out his interns and unscrew some boy's head like a rechargeable fleshlight. After all the suffering, Daddy's got to have a little fun too. I lip out of the scaffolding nightmare and straight into cardio class with Hermes. Track and field Smurf does his superiority lap dance, which only makes me more erect. With no upgrades, my blades are compliments, not threats, so I lean on parkour without the fancy shoes and perfectly timed lunges until the route funnels him into my arm like a rom-com meet cute that ends in leg removal. The camera kisses his calf goodbye and I lace up his winged sneakers like I just robbed Foot Locker. Hermes boots rewire my movement and I moonwalk into the forum for family therapy with Hercules. It's a crowd control midterm on Titan. Armoured goons, cursed sightlines, and a gym bro boss who patterns like a trained timetable. My loadout remains celibate, so we practice polite brutality, and when the cuddle pile forms, I blind them with Helios' head like a vindictive lighthouse. Time for sibling homicide. I cape swish past Herc's freight train swings, sneak 2-hit love taps into the safe gaps, and resist the thirst when the Nemean cestus wink at me like a buffet line. When his skull finally kisses the floorboard, the UI dings like a passive-aggressive choir. Fresh off fratricide, I jog my shiny cardio legs into Poseidon's throne room for the fan-favourite kennel club, a field of hounds and a boot counter that reads kick 50 or live in shame. Hermes boots make punting a lifestyle, and suddenly we're playing NFL with bonus arson. It's ugly, it's effective, and when the counter hits 50, my trouser serpent does a tiny victory wiggle. With Hermes de-legged, Hercules face down, and the throne room's hounds saluting the boot, it's time to visit the goddess of velvet chaos herself, Aphrodite. I step into a disco, and in true, emotionally available fashion, she immediately tests my commitment to the bit. The camera politely looks away, Kratos makes lawnmower noises, and I earn a bronze in understanding women. Paperwork filed with Queen Velvet, and with my balls feeling mysteriously lighter, the route sneaks me back to the forge. Hephaestus hits me with the exhausted father monologue, then drops the spicy footnote. Progress requires the Omphalos stone, currently embedded as a kidney stone in the gut of a titan who wants to exfoliate me with geology. I nod solemnly, as if I'm not mentally updating my will to include bury me with my boots. I re-enter Olympus's marble hamster tube, and the game tosses the last centaur general at me like a surprise exam in Don't Be Greedy. These glue factory boys aren't set pieces, they're recurring drive-bys, 3 in total, each demanding restraint like I'm defusing a bomb with boxing gloves. Killing isn't enough, you must trigger the gutting quick time event. If you panic splatter, yeet them off a ledge, or slow cook one without the disembowel, kiss the trophy goodbye, and enjoy your replay pilgrimage. Now all 3 surgical removals, and the game finally hands over the intestine certificate. Next up, theatre kids, the gates of Tisiphone. It's a CrossFit box that learned to lie. I flirt with levers, whisper to pressure plates, and mansplain perspective to a couple of harpies until the geometry stops catfishing me. The doors yawn open like they finally remembered my safe word. We enter through the doors and find ourselves in the pits of Tartarus, but we're not alone. Enter Kronos. He's not thrilled. Pandora, long story, still salty, and greets me with a palm-sized swats the size of weather systems. This boss fight is free soloing a grumpy continent, bait the slam, hug the seams, climb between tantrums, and smash whatever fleshy padlock the UI coyly spotlights. Halfway through the world's angriest obstacle course, Big Boy decides I'm a snack. I take the express down his esophagus, speedrun Titan intestines, and there it is, the Omphalos stone. I yank it like a crocodile battery, carve my exit, and crawl back out, liquid in enough Titan goo to moisturize a village.
Ew! What the f***?
I drive a spike through his chin, pin him like a cursed kebab, then pull the sword of Olympus and thread it straight through his skull. I lug the Omphalos stone back to the forge like a cat dropping a shit on the doormat. Hephaestus clocks it, makes a weapon out of it, and then remembers he sent me to die. He reaches for the murder lever like he's closing a register. I reach for patience and find none. He lunges, I counter, and our quiet blacksmith becomes an ex-mentor in the world's shortest performance review. But you know what? When you're acting like a fuckboy, you gotta die like a fuckboy. Olympus is loading the next subpoena, but I've got one window of peace. A single breath before chaos eats my ass. It's collectible season, and hitting these bad boys again and again practically made them my signature sex toys. First, eyeballs. Next, feathers. Now, horns. The crown jewel of this errand run is the final godly possession, courtesy of Hera, who is impressively, biblically shit-faced. She wobbles through her lines like a wine tour with vendettas, drops a trinket with the grace of a failing economy, and I scoop it while pretending this isn't wildly petty. Then the map funnels me into Hera's gardens, a TikTok illusion curated by a mean god. Nothing lines up until you stand in the one espresso-approved developer spot. That's the mid-game ledger close. Hephaestus toasted his own job, the collectible set is complete, priceless is safe, and I've done it all without juicing a single weapon. But out past the hedges, Olympus is sharpening something ugly. The air goes cold, the floor starts skittering. This is where the game stops flirting and politely inserts a finger. No. Behold, Scorpius, HR manager of pain, and boy, I wish I brought some aloe vera to soothe all the ass clapping I was about to receive. Titan difficulty, 0 upgrades, my swings are dandelion wishes, her taps are court-ordered evictions, and the worst part, the daycare swarm. Baby scorpions burst like party poppers and unionize around my ankles, shattering combos and turning my precious ration damage into gluten-free sadness. SWAT 1, 2 spawn under your toes. If she double taps tail slams, I handcuff my inner gremlin and run the drill. Dash, micro-step, dash. No heroics, just metronome misery. The moment it clicks, the fight exhales like a trapped lung. Magic is for crowd control, not ego. One burst to punt the ankle goblins off my shins, then I'm back at the queen's hip like a bad idea on rollerblades. The Cestus finally comes alive. Even unupgraded, their stagger window lets me fillet a chunk without getting arrested by Newton. Still, welcome to one-hit suburbia. I decode the tail's petty micro-freeze. I weaponize her geometry, turning the scuttlers into a shadow so they bounce off her hitbox instead of my calves. After many attempts, I finally got it. Felt well paced for a full half second, and the game coughed up the receipt. Labyrinth doesn't welcome me, it threatens me with a choke collar.
Daddy, chill.
Rules brutal and simple. Don't die, don't fail, not once, or your trophy and your dignity get punted back to the foyer. I immediately die, then I fail, then I die again. Somewhere between the third reset and the 7th deep breath, I start treating it like a bomb defusal sim. Slow feet, safe lines, 0 heroics. Pandora's escort threads the mess, and for once, I manage not to yeet a child into a geometry lesson. She gets her dramatics, I get my dopamine, the UI slides me a pity cookie. Most of the maze is tolerable, irritating, but fine, until the halfway house of pain. Spike floor gauntlet while a busload of minotaurs try to turn me into pastrami. This section farms failures like crypto, so I marry the Cestus. One filthy push later, the room breaks, my pulse re-enters Earth's atmosphere, and the run stays clean. After that, the labyrinth remembers it's a hallway. A few levers, some moving walls pretending to be puzzles, and the game admits I kept it deathless for the whole cursed stretch. The labyrinth spits me out clean and cocky, and straight into the meat grinder history we'll remember as the Cerberus plus satire fight. Tiny arena, cursed camera, a 3-headed flamethrower that spawns raw dogs, and a satyr who parries like he's paid by the flame. On Titan, with base damage, it's not a fight, it's a foreclosure. I try playing honest with the blades, they bounce. I swap the claws of Hades to build Rage of Sparta. The satyr moonwalk parries my soul. I kite with the bow, chip so light it feels like I'm gently kissing Cerberus's neck. Every plan ends the same. Dog vomits fire, satyr counter strings me into pace, a fresh muck crawls out of the floor like a refund, and I'm back at the checkpoint wondering if Greek mythology covers workers' comp. Base kit means no burst to force a phase, no hit stun to keep the satyr honest, and no forgiveness when the camera decides to do jazz. Death after death after death. At this point, I had a raging boner for misery bigger than Zeus's ego. And then, Daddy caves. I crank open the upgrade menu like a confessional and press the button I swore I wouldn't press yet. While I'm trapped in this purgatory anyway, I do some clerical work between wipes. Cycle every clause of Hades' souls like a weirdo at a tasting menu. Gorgon, Siren, the whole zoo. Roll call complete, back to the blender. But something in me snaps. No more etiquette, no more kiting. I send it. I sprint straight through fire cones with Hermes' boots, stuff the satyr's opener with 2 filthy taps, and bark my knuckles into Cerberus' skull every time his mouth opens to think. It's not pretty, it's not balanced, it's violence with a commune. Maybe it was luck, maybe it was the brick first gospel finally clicking. But the dog blinks, staggers, and the prompts chain together like a Christmas miracle. I ride every quick time event like rent is due, smother the spawn animation before the new pups can crawl out, and Cerberus finally folds. The arena deflates, leaving me with 2 satyrs, and adrenaline screaming in my ears. I'm soaked, I'm shaking, I'm aroused. I play small, no hero strings, no victory laps, Just clean, rude basics until the last goat hits the floor and stays there. Controller limp in my hands, I don't celebrate. The blender is dead, the run lives, and the cestus massaged my prostate harder than a chiropractor with boundary issues.
What did he say?
I peel myself off the floor and the next room is, mercifully, not too much of a hemorrhoid. The 3 judges require me to smash the ice at the back of their heads until the chain finally drops and we unlock another trophy. Paperwork stamp, I finally cracked the All Piggy Bank for real. It's not romance, it's logistics, and makes the endgame with Zeus far more bearable. We make it back to Pandora, and climb our way back up the Flame of Olympus and Pandora's box. Pandora is the key, the box is the plan, and the Flame of Olympus is the prize. The problem? The price is Pandora. Kratos, miracle of miracles, doesn't want that. For once, the murder goblin tries to find another way. Stall the ritual, pull a lever, argue with fate. Then Zeus kicks the door in, and what should have been a negotiation becomes a family reunion with fists. While we're busy turning the room into a drum solo, Pandora makes the call we wouldn't. She sacrifices herself to kill the flame and to open the box. From there, it's pure Greek chaos. Gaia shows up, and the 3 of us tumble into mythological Kama Sutra until the fight continues inside her. The Zeus duel itself is discipline with a beard. Bait the lightning and throw it back at him. If you get thirsty and rush, the old man starts cloning himself until you're finding a LinkedIn of dads. So I play monk, dodge the thunderbolts, wait for the overcommit, punish, repeat. It's slow, spiteful, and it works. And then the game hands me therapy. The well drains of colour, the screen goes full red, and I beat Zeus with my bare hands until time loses meaning and my controller files an HR complaint. Victory lap? Not yet. You sit through the credits, and I do mean sit because the trophies are petty like that. When the scroll finally crawls into the sea and the save file exhales, the last 2 dings hit back to back like a bartender closing your tab. I save the world and immediately volunteer for another round of degeneracy because we're not done. We got the bullshit challenge of Olympus still to go, and this right here is probably what gets you sickos off. This challenge takes my confidence, puts it in a blender, and hits puree. Challenge 2 is where my soul left my body, pick up the dudes and sprint them into a troll like I'm running a slapstick courier service. I fumble grabs, get clipped mid-run, and eat resets like vitamins. When it finally clicks, it's because I stop thinking and start treating the arena like a bowling alley. Grab, line up, knock down, repeat, until the screen grudgingly allows me to exist. Then, El Matador shows up, the Minotaur rodeo from hell. I get trampled, reset, trampled again, question my lineage, then realise the only winning move is to shove bros off the platform, and then hope that the other fuckboys don't grab me, because if one even lays a bony finger on you, it's game over, restart. I chew through the rest like a raccoon with a checklist, and the counter hits 0. The UI coughs up my diploma, and then the crown drops. So, despite that cheerful guide swearing 12 hours easy, the no upgrade religion turned God of War 3 on Titan into a 22-hour war of attrition. Missables everywhere like landmines with Greek subtitles. Scorpius sanded my soul down to the nub. The Cerberus satire blender wrung out the last of my optimism. And yeah, the thesis of the run, platinum with no weapon upgrades, technically face planted. I held the line forever, then cracked near the end and fed the bar. I'm sorry, Daddy failed the purity test. Did the platinum kinda suck and smudge the magic of the game for me? A little. The route turns a gorgeous murder opera into a spreadsheet that screams, but finishing it, dragging this stubborn, spiteful challenge across the tape, still hits like a dirty jockstrain. If you want more cursed platinums and masochist makeovers, hit subscribe, slap a like, and drop a comment telling me which game gets the next masochist makeover. And if you somehow missed it, go watch my last video. Can you beat Borderlands 4 with no shield? It's like this, but with even fewer safety features and way more bad decisions. I'm going to ice my wrists, apologise to Athena, and pretend I didn't see the post-game timer. Thanks for watching. Here's a little kiss on your forehead goodnight because I love you all.